Let's be honest, we don't know anything about our elected officials. They're hidden behind curated social media profiles and press releases to the point that they often seem barely human. We're here to break down those barriers and get under the hood of their real character. Our guest today is the man who will outwork everyone, Balvir Singh, a freeholder in Burlington County, New Jersey. This is Politically Driven. So let's. I want to start with a very simple question here. What's a freeholder?
We take care of the things that come between the towns in terms of the roads, the bridges, on top of the Board of Social Services we have, the health department, the prisons, the sheriff's office, the libraries, the county schools, the county colleges.
So it's basically the town council before the county.
Exactly,
okay.
Right.
So at the same time, you were campaigning for freeholder.
Yep.
You were on the school board. You have 2 kids?
I have three now.
Three now.
2 and wife was pregnant during the campaigning.
Okay. So you now have 3 kids. You had 2 kids for, I guess, most of the campaign.
Yeah.
You're also a teacher.
Yes.
Were you working
right here in this town?
Okay. And so you're doing all those at the same time. So here's my next question: have you been able to sleep since then? Have you gotten a full night's rest?
To be honest, with the kids, I don't think any young parent gets a full night's rest. By the way, that's the court apartments that was mentioned. So
okay.
Those are the apartments I lived in. That's where I grew up.
That's where you grew up. So we're around. We're about to turn on to 130. Am I turning the right way?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna go straight, right?
Go straight. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Right.
I see.
Yeah, you're gonna go straight, but just want to point out.
Yeah. Okay. So
those are the apartments I grew up. We had a 1-bedroom there. D3.
D3 was the
apartment. Yeah, and my mom, dad, and a brother. We were there. My brother and I, we shared one single bed in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time we were fine, unless we had a fight, and then somebody had to take the couch.
So you were like a married couple, the two. One of you to go to the couch.
Yeah, right. And then eventually, I think a few years later, we were able to get a 2-bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
2 bedrooms cost a little bit more money.
Right.
I think there was $150 difference or something.
Okay.
So we got a 2-bedroom, and that was F7, right in the next.
I like that you remember that.
Yeah, I remember because it's just like something. You remember putting the address down everywhere, and it's the first apartments that I lived in the U.S. So
it's funny. I was talking to my parents about this. The fact that at our old house when I was growing up,
right.
We all still remember what the code was to get into the garage. I still vividly remember that.
Right.
It was 81B9, and
right.
I will never forget that was the code that you had to do.
I have a very visual I had a representation of exactly where the things were.
Right.
I remember the curtains, the couches, what we had hanging on the wall.
Right, but how the whole thing looked. There you go.
And then we walked right from there to the high school where I'm a teacher now. So I went to the high school there, went to college, came back, started teaching at the same school there. Yeah.
So during your campaign, you had, I think, one of the more interesting campaigns for a lot of different reasons of all the races last year, for a lot of different reasons. One is because I think most people didn't expect you to win. Was there a moment that you said were thinking, we could do this, we really can win?
Yeah, at the very beginning,
yeah.
I think it was like a roller coaster thing, to be honest. At the very beginning, when I learned about, I was going to run for re-election one way or the other, either for my school board. My term was up last year, so I was going to be on the ballot in November. And when I learned about this opportunity and a lot of the anger, a lot of this yearn to represent at a higher level, let people know, we're going to fight back, this whole, the national politics. And at that point, it was like, we're going to win this.
Right.
Because just like, for me, it was like my existence depends on it. I was very enthusiastic throughout, and we started doing door knocking, believe it or not, right in April.
Oh, wow, okay, that's pretty early for...
I mean, we didn't even have it...
So pretty much as soon as you got on the ballot, you were...
I think March 3rd, second or third week, we were confirmed by the county. There were 5 of us that had put their names in, and there were 4 interviewed, I believe, and 2 of us got the nomination. And as soon as we, the confirmation, I remember asking the person, the chairman, when can I tell my friends and family if I've been confirmed? Like,
Yeah.
it really was one of those moments. And we started door knocking right away. We didn't have anything to hand out. No no
literature.
business cards,
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
But
Nothing but a smile and a handshake.
But a smile and a handshake. I've knocked on the door to people. Oh, I remember talking to you at the farm
At the
fair.
farm thing. All right.
And I'm like, wow, it really does
It
work.
really does work. Yeah.
People really, as much as we like to this media and
Yeah.
the mailers, I think that's
Way overblown.
may overblown. It's the time that the mailer is going to stay in residents' hand depends on how far their trash can is from the front door.
Right.
And it's literally like, and
Wow.
I do the same thing. There was a lot of enthusiasm among the towns too. We were very, very fortunate. We do have some towns with a good, solid democratic established clubs, and some towns were just at the verge of like starting it. So it turned into one of those really like the perfect storm.
Right. It was all
Everybody
these people
was
getting
looking,
involved, and
like everybody's looking to get involved. And then in the middle of the campaign, that's when we started like, oh man, what the heck? Then we saw them like, come out
Right.
with their guns and tanks. We saw, I'm like, okay, shit, we're really out of
Right,
it. Like,
right.
look at the ammo they have, and we're just fighting a war with toothpicks. It was really like that. And so there was some times when we were, when I was okay. This is getting tough now.
Right.
I had to rethink myself. What did I make a right decision?
Sure. Yeah.
What can we do?
What I get myself into almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it becomes very personal.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, I know, especially in your case.
Right, and then you start thinking about it like, then you're like, okay, they're making it about this and this issue for me, but then as the face of the community, the immigrant community and the first Asian person to run, and then to sit at this, what would it mean if I got defeated? Would it mean that Balvir lost, or would it mean the Indian guy lost? Would it mean the
Sure.
immigrant lost? Or
Okay.
then you start having to think like, how would it be portrayed? And so you go through.
But
things
you weren't thinking about that until you were in the middle of the campaign.
in the middle of the campaign, right? Because
Wow, okay.
I don't know. It's just you go through all these things, like what would happen, and
Sure.
then
Yeah.
we had a 5-mailer program. They had 20-mailer program.
20 mailers that
They
sent out?
sent 20 mail pieces to individual houses.
They're
And
probably also sending them to a bigger group.
to the much
Yeah,
bigger
right.
group, not only to Republicans but also to Democrats,
And
to
independents and unaffiliated.
exactly, to
Interesting.
push back against people voting for us. But we had, I think, 5-mil program and 40,000 or so voters or something.
Wow.
Expect people to start attacking them, and expected they will definitely dilate my eyes, and they would definitely do all the.
Is that what they did?
Yeah, they were just like, make sure like I'm looking at it like all weird with big eyeballs that just you think like so alien compared to the eye size.
Sure.
But the eyeballs are much bigger. The skin with the lightning effect. Oh, they really did that good job on that. Like
Really?
they would have it like like you have a lamp on one side, and
Uh-huh.
so the light shines on just this part of the face,
Okay.
but not the rest. Just
To make it look scarier and,
exactly
and
to
different.
make it indifferent, and just so you're like, oh, that guy doesn't seem like he belongs in this
in this area.
perfect scenery of this, it's like the campaigning. I'm like, we're never gonna throw the first punch. We'll never, ever, but we do know how to finish a fight.
Right. If they come and hit us with a stick, we'll hit them with a 2x4. But we'll let them make the first. We'll let them make the first strike.
And
Okay.
I'm a guy like I make a mistake. I don't have that like the stiff backbone that I'm too proud to apologize. Like
Right.
I'll apologize if I make a mistake. I don't care if there's millions of people watching or something.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm sorry, I screwed up.
Which is funny because that could be what we were
It
saying.
could be something that could totally ruin me in a campaign or something. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, or it could embarrass me in front of people. But it just, if I made a mistake, I'm not gonna try to like find this politically
Correct way to
good
say it.
way
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say it without saying it.
Yeah.
Like, say
Just apologize.
Right.
Right.
I'm just like be the guy. I screwed up.
So I'm sorry. So let's go back to what you were saying about some of the issues that were coming up.
Right. Well, the people would talk about the taxes, and then the tax they would talk about in terms of the gas tax that was levied.
Okay. That was
and
the one
they
that
were
was
not
the one that was
seeing-
increased under Christie.
Right, exactly, which was promised that this would help you build your local infrastructure. And people were like, well, there's a road, there's a dam, there's a bridge, not even on the schedule for rebuilding,
Right,
for
right.
repavement, so where's the money
Where's
going?
the money going? Yeah.
We were paying, since that, we were paying like close to $250 an average driver in our county for that new taxes a year. Right. Whereas they said, oh, we're going to cut the sales tax. Yeah, we're saving maybe
from
$50 or maybe $20 or something a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say that went from like 7 to like 6 point. I don't know what it was. It was like 6.28 or something like that. It
Right,
was like
exactly. You spent $100 and you saved 50 cents.
Yeah.
Woohoo! On a gas station, all of a sudden you paid $5 more.
Right.
That's how it was. 23 cents on a gallon.
Yeah.
But people were really frustrated. They wanted to know, where's the money going? Is it coming back?
What about it is what you thought it was going to be? Is there a part of it like, this is what I expected here?
Some of it in terms of the routines of the work that we do.
This is a part-time job.
This is a part-time job.
Is it actually part-time or is it full-time but they call it part-time? So that way they don't have to pay more.
Well, it's I think how much you want to make out of it.
Okay.
If you're just going to go there and sit for twice a month meetings for 4 hours or so and just vote yeah all along, just be a bobblehead, then yeah, you can actually think of this as a nice little gig, but if you really want to go there and actually start, working for the people and start, okay, this is a concern I heard in the community in this town, what are we going to do about it? This is the concern I heard from, this neighborhood about something happening from the county, and there's the road, the bridges.
If you're actually going to go out and do something, then,
right?
Yeah.
And the only way you can do that is if you actually go out and meet people outside your meeting.
Which is another reason why the campaign never ends, because you still got to go out there and shake all those hands, and you got to go to the farmers market and things like that.
Because you don't want to be the politician that only comes out at the voting time when you need the votes, and the rest of the time you only talk to the the people within the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
So you never get that perspective of the people of the towns. I have been going into different towns, and as the first time any freeholder ever did, my goal is to go to all the 40 towns to introduce myself to the council, the committee, and the mayor in person, not just through email or something, and build that connection. And then we continue our coverage of going to the local events. Mm-hmm. Town has a fair, we are showing up. Town has a community event, we're showing up. So as long as it fits in our schedule, and I can, between my kids and a school job, and I'm teaching part-time at the county college, and if I can find something somewhere, I'm gonna go. And sometimes I can just take my kids with me, because I've learned in campaigning is it's much easier to just take the kids with you.
Plus they're adorable, so
they're adorable. They get to spend the time with the dad, and they like this. Like my son, he likes being out, and he's at an age where I can trust him. He's not gonna wander off too far. He loves open space. Yeah. So he can run around and do all the things, and I can get my work done. We're both happy, and this is a different experience for him.
So let me ask you a totally different, not politics related question, which is a question that I always ask everyone. What is your spirit animal?
Spirit animal.
I don't know if you've given this any thought at all. I wouldn't blame you if you haven't. Yes.
No, but
well, I'll tell you what I thought about. I was thinking about one.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was thinking. I don't know if it's exactly something like a Saint Bernard, like one of those like big fluffy dogs, like the big dogs that are like that kind of fluffy. I don't know. Just because just because you're I don't know, you always have this smile on your face, and you're always just like, hey, how's it? I don't know. You're just like always in that like goofy kind of mood. Like let's.
I don't know.
Let's have
this
fun.
is what happens. I'm always a nice guy, and I always assume people are nice. Yeah. Till people prove me wrong otherwise. Yeah. And for the life of me, I don't think people understand that, and people expect that.
You don't think people expect it?
People don't expect someone to be nice to them at the onset.
Just to
people
assume
think you have to prove something to them. Right. You have to be nice, and they have to be nice to you. Mm-hmm. And then you end up, saying, I'm always like, someone I just met the first time, you introduce me to a friend, I'm going to think that friend is the next Mother Teresa or the Pope. Right. Because I'm like, hi, hey, great guy. And then all of a sudden, like, that person just murdered blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I did not know that.
I'm telling you.
Sometimes I'm very naive in situations. And for the life of me, no matter how many times I tell myself I have to be careful, I end up always getting in trouble and being friends with the people who end up all of a sudden they're the next serial killer that and I'm like, I never knew that. I don't know. So
I'm gonna stick behind my I don't know if it's Saint Bernard or one of those other like big fluffy dogs that's like that. But it's you're smiling until all of a sudden they I don't know they do whatever. Then you bite them.
Then all bets are off.